A neighborhood parking restriction has homeowners pumping their brakes against their HOA. We're talking about the Shadowglen neighborhood in Manor, where homeowners were given citations for parking in front of their own homes. Tonight, KXAN's Omar Lewis has their story and breaks down your rights when it comes to HOAs in Texas.
I shouldn't have to call the HOA every time I have a scheduled or unscheduled guest. I shouldn't be harassed or live in fear that somebody's parking out in front of my house.
Allison Lopez is doing everything she can to reverse her neighborhood's parking restrictions after receiving a citation with a picture of her own car parked in front of her home.
If they don't want people to park in the street, where else? There is not one designated area in this entire community for people to park.
Folks who live in this neighborhood say they've collected fines and citations that now add up to more than $500 for having people park in front of their homes. And that includes getting fined for having the maids come over to clean up.
$500. Welcome home.
The neighborhood covenants say cars should only be parked in garages, driveways, or appropriate designated spaces. While it doesn't mention the street, neighbors quickly found out they were still in violation. We contacted the neighborhood developer, SunCal. In an email, they tell us the restrictions are in place for safety and crime prevention. And even though the road is county property, homeowners are now bound by the HOA's agreement they signed. In a statement to KXAN, they say in part the statutes do not in general prohibit parking in public streets, but parties may and commonly do contract for agreements over and above those statutes, including through neighborhood restrictive covenants. It's a situation HOA lawyer Greg Cagle sees all the time.
And that is the most efficient and quickest way to resolve disputes.
It's why he recommends homeowners ask as many questions as possible beforehand. He says homeowners should keep in mind that it is a legally binding agreement, and one of their last steps against an HOA should be legal action. Instead, contacting the HOA board made up of your own neighbors will provide homeowners with quicker, cheaper, and faster results.
They have to provide you written notice of the violation, and they also have to inform you that you are entitled to request a hearing in front of the board of directors.
SunCal tells us they're now working to put together a survey to gauge the opinions of neighbors, and they'll take further actions after that. In the meantime, Lopez has taken matters into her own hands and started a petition, while other neighbors have resorted to even more drastic measures. Ernestine Galindo and her elderly husband sold their truck after receiving several citations from the HOA, her way of putting the situation to rest once and for all.
You know, you come to a point to where you just have to make the decision to sell it. There's not anything else you can do. You can't park it on top of the roof.
Omar Lewis, KXAN News.
Well, we get calls and complaints about issues with different homeowners associations, and there are a lot because in Texas we have over 30,000 HOAs. But while other states have active state agencies to oversee and hear disputes between homeowners and the HOAs, that does not exist here in the state of Texas. And that's why resolving your dispute through open communication is best, because otherwise you have to go to court to get the issue taken care of.